everybody, Steve Dawson here, and today I'm here to give you a little mini lesson on the joys of double drop D tuning. So this is a tuning I've used for years, and I kind of fell into it because it was easy to get into, and then I got really used to it, and now I use it all the time. It's great for backing people up, it's great for writing and playing solo things on, and I do all that stuff all the time with it. Probably use it more now than I do open G or open D tunings, which are the standard kind of well-known slide tunings. But if I'm playing with other people, double drop D is the way to go. How do you get into it? You just take your standard tuning and you drop your low string, your low E string down to a D. And the easiest way to do that, you don't even need a tuner. You just play your D string and then tune your low E string so it's an octave below. Perfect. And then do the same with your high E string. It's going to be an octave above the middle D. So play your D string, your open D string. Play your open E. This one takes a little more turning. There you go. If you really want to check it, you could play the 12th fret harmonic on the D string. That's going to be the same octave. It's perfect. There you go. If you play the middle notes of a D chord, you've got a gigantic, powerful D chord right there. So the way that I think about this tuning is it's kind of a hybrid between open G and open D. And here's a couple of ways that I think about that. So if I'm in open G tuning, I'm going to be playing, just for the sake of argument here, we're going to be in the key of D. So if I'm in open G tuning, playing in the key of D, I'm going to be playing at the 7th fret. Now, let me just show you. Now I'm in open G tuning. So up at the 7th fret, there's your D chord, and a lot of licks and positions are based off of the 7th fret there. But those top 4 strings, D, G, B, D, they're exactly the same as double drop D. So everything that you're doing on the top 4 strings, you've still got available to you. Okay, now let's talk about open D tuning for a second. Getting into open D from open G takes a second, so I'm going to magically do it right now. Okay, now I'm in open D tuning. And of course, there's all kinds of great stuff you can do in D. If you've played slide in the key of D in open D tuning, you know all that stuff. I'm not here to talk about that. But all the low string stuff, all the stuff on the D string, A string, and the low D string now, which is the low E string, all that stuff is also exactly the same in double drop D tuning. Okay, so what does all that really mean? Let's go back to double drop D tuning. All right, back in double drop D, everything I was just doing on the low 3 strings translates exactly into double drop D tuning. So the way that I navigate this tuning is I think of the top 4 strings as being open G, so key of D. There's my root note on the 7th fret, and the low strings I think basically like I would in open D tuning. But wait, there's more. The middle 4 strings, A, D, G, and B, are exactly the same as standard tuning. So any chords that you're used to playing, and assuming you've got your slide on your 4th finger like I do, which may not be the case, but if it is, the middle 4 strings, A, D, G, B, are exactly the way that you're used to them for a normal tuned guitar. So that gives you all kinds of interesting things, like a full-on C chord, just like you would play like a folky C chord, or an F chord. A G chord, right there, or I play it a lot like this. Playing my root note on the 5th fret now. So you've got all these chords here, plus you can get like an A7 chord, a D7 chord, G7, C7. There's all kinds of cool stuff. So fingering wise, you've got a ton of options here, and that's just like some really basic open chords. There's all kinds of things that you can do up the neck in whatever key you want, and they're all still there because as long as you're staying away from the outer 2 strings, you're golden. Another thing that's here from standard tuned guitars is all my favorite double stops, like say Anything on the D and the B strings are still there. Key of D still, just for the sake of being in the key of D. 4th and 3rd fret, we've got a D chord. Moving up to another inversion of the D chord. I've got at my disposal a number of kind of bluegrassy open string licks that I use in the key of D, which might be something like this. And you can't do that in open D tuning. Let me walk you through a blues progression in the key of D, and you can see what's happening. G, G7, double stops, D, A, G, D. So what I like about that tuning is you've got all the fretted things that you can do in standard tuning, plus you've got a lot of open G coolness and a lot of open D coolness. Those are all very cool things. And the other thing that I find really useful in this tuning is just being able to play with, singer-songwriters and stuff like that. You might find yourself in the key of C with somebody, and if you're tuned to open D, playing in C isn't the most natural thing. It's okay, you can do it, but it takes a little work and you got to figure all that stuff out. But with this, you got a lot of the chords sitting right here, and it makes accompanying people quite easy, especially if you have to fill kind of a rhythm and a lead role. So like, I don't know, I'm just gonna make something up here, but say we're in the key of C and you've got C, A minor, F, G, so I'm doing a C chord like normal, I'm playing an A minor chord like normal, I'm playing an F chord by hitting the 3rd fret of the low string, and you've got an F chord right there, G chord, move that 2 frets up and you've got your G chord there. So that's like, if the song went C, A minor, F, G, I don't know. Throw the slide in. I don't know, there's a gazillion ways that you can use it, but there's a few things to think about. If you like stuff like this, please hit the subscribe button, let me know what you might like to hear in the future, and make sure you give Double Drop D a fightin' chance. I promise that you'll dig it.